This is my new Generac power washer. I stay with the Generac company. My last power washer lasted me 12 years. Okay, so as you can see on the box, it comes with a 25-foot high pressure hose. I have another 25-foot high pressure hose that I'll add to it, giving me 50 feet of hose. This is good because you can put the power washer off in a distance so you don't have to listen to the noise and breathe in. And you can see here, like I mentioned before, 2,900 pounds per square inch, and it puts out 2.4 gallons per minute. So that's a lot of water under a lot of pressure. Does a great job cleaning. I'm going to clean my driveway and my walkway. Does a great job. Okay, so now we're going to open it. So I'm going to use a razor, and I have my gloves on. When you cut into cut. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so instead of trying to lift the heavy power washer out of the box, I'm just going to cut the side. So I want to look inside to make sure I'm not cutting any tires or the pressure hose. Okay, so you can see it was packaged really well. And this styrofoam stuff, you want to keep everything. And so you put the power washer together, make sure you have all the pieces. Sometimes a little piece might get caught in some of the packaging. So you just want to leave it around the area, and we'll put the power washer together. Okay, so here's the owner's manual that came with it. Now, I've had the same exact power washer for 12 years, but I'm going to read the owner's manual because this is 12 years newer. They might have changed a few things. I might have to maybe change an adjustment here or there, and they might have changed the way that you adjust the sprays, or the handle comes with a couple different, the power spray and nozzle comes with a couple different settings. So I'm sure after 12 years that Generac has improved all the features on this power washer. I can tell right now by looking at it that they have a cage over the area here which gets pretty hot. That's the top of the motor, so it does get pretty hot, but they put a safety cage there so you won't burn yourself. So that's one improvement I can see just off the bat. So here it is here. I'm not going to bore you with everything. It tells you how to put it together step by step, so I'm going to put it together. Like I always like to say, this is not rocket science. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to put this together. Everything's assembled except for the handles and the spray wand and the hose, but everything just screws in together. But I'll just do that. I mean, it's just common sense. I don't think I have to film that. It's just common sense, and the directions are real clear. Like for an example here, you pick up the handles and it just slides into the two pulls that are already on the machine. So it's just common sense stuff. Okay, so I'm putting the handle on so it fits over the two pipes that are already come attached to the machine, and you see there's two little knobs sticking out. You press them in and slide the handle down. That's it. You make sure the handle is locked in place. And now I'm going to go to the next step of the directions. Okay, the next step is to install the hose hook. And you can see the picture here. So you just make it match. And you put it here and they give you two little prongs. Okay, so this is what this looks like. It has threads on it. There's no head on it. You just put it in, you push it in. And once it goes in, it expands and it'll hold, the holes hold it. So you line up the hole, put it there. And just give it a push, and that's that. So this came with a bag, and there's 4 different nozzles. So the nozzles just get pressed into these little rings here. And that's the next step. And it's good that the rings are rubber, so it holds the nozzles in place. Okay, it also comes with a siphon hose. So you would attach this to the engine and put the other end into a bucket of detergent or whatever. But all I use is straight water. So I've never used a detergent, but you can if you want. The pressure washer is so powerful that it'll just clean it with just straight water. Okay, so according to the directions, the siphon hose will go right here on this little nozzle there sticking up. One end goes onto the machine. The other end has a nice little filter in it to keep out any debris from getting clogged up into the tube. And that end there would go into a bucket of detergent or cleaner. Or you can buy a gallon of power washer cleaner at the box stores or on Amazon. And you would just stick that into the gallon container. And it comes through, you'll siphon it out and mix it up with the water, and you'll have soap and water. But like I said, I just use the water. So I won't be using this. Okay, now here's a very important part. The unit is shipped without oil for the engine. And if you run an engine with no oil, you might as well just say goodbye to that engine. So it comes with 30 weight oil. And you can see these 2 orange caps here on either side. That's where you put the oil in. And on the oil dipstick, I'm hoping you can see that. There's a bunch of little serrations here, and there's full right here. So full is right up to that, the word full. So you want to always check your engine oil before you start an engine. I definitely have to check the oil, because this is an expensive piece of equipment that will last you forever, almost, depending on your use, but you want to make sure it has nice clean oil in there. As you can see, there's an orange plug on the left and an orange plug on the right, so it doesn't matter which plug you use. Either one, they go into the same oil reservoir for the engine. The one on the left is better used if you use a funnel, but the bag that came with the oil from the manufacturer has a little pour spout on it, so I'm going to use the spout on the right as we're looking at the back of the machine. Okay, either one is more easy for you to use. It just depends. Okay, put a rag underneath the engine in case I spill any oil, just in case. Okay, I want to make sure I get every bit of oil in there. And with any dipstick, whether it's your automobile or your power washer, you want to clean the dipstick off. You put it in. You screw it in all the way. And then unscrew it. full. I know it's full. Check the dipstick. Okay, and you'll notice around this oil cap is a rubber gasket that seals it tight. You want to make sure this is nice and tight so the oil won't leak out. I did find on my other power washer that I had to replace those over the years. I think I had it, like I told you, for maybe 12 years, maybe even longer. In the other house I used to live in, I had a clay tile roof. So 2 or 3 times a year I'd have to get up on the roof and power wash those clay tiles. So I had a lot of use. I got a lot of use out of it. But I did have to replace those little gaskets. You go to O'Reilly's and bring the gasket with you, and they'll give you 2. They're, I don't know, maybe a couple bucks for both of them. So you want to, the oil's filled. You want to make sure this is closed nice and tight. Okay. And make sure we didn't spill in the oil. And on to the next step. Okay, so this came with special 4-cycle small engine oil. SAE 30. So when you go to replace the oil, when you go to change the oil in your power washer, don't just go down to the local store and buy SAE 30 weight oil made for an automobile, because these are small air-cooled engines, 4-cycle engines. So that means that they need a special oil. So spend the extra few dollars to buy the oil that the manufacturer has recommended for use in the power washer. It's the same thing with your automobile. My automobile says it takes 0.16 weight oil. That's what Toyota says. That's what I put in. So this is very important for the life of your engine. I'll put links for the products I'm using in the description below. But this is very important. Don't forget to do this part. Don't buy cheap oil, because like when I make my pizza and raviolis, if you haven't checked out my channel, check out my channel. I show you how to make homemade pizza, raviolis, pasta. But I always stress that when I'm making those Italian dishes, the better the ingredients that you use to make the dish, the better the results. So you use good products, top of the line products, to make the raviolis and the pasta and whatnot. And when you get the finished product, they're just better because you use the right product, but also top of the line products. So this here might cost you a couple bucks extra to buy this special oil, but it's very, very important. Very important. So the next step is to connect the water hose. So both ends are the same here. So they're both exactly the same. And you'll notice that there's a little rubber O-ring right there and right there. So I'm just going to give it a little squirt of oil before I install it on the machine. Because what happens is over time those O-rings will dry up. So this would be a good chance to put a little bit of oil on them, and then I'm going to install them on the machine. Pretty simple, just push it in and screw it on. Simple stuff. Okay. So the manufacturer shipped it with a shipping plug on it to protect the threads. You're going to give it a little squirt of oil. A little squirt here, a little squirt there. It just fits into that hole. And then you just tighten it on clockwise. Do not use WD-40. WD-40 is not a lubricant. I am using white lithium grease, which is a lubricant. WD-40 is not. Connected the hose that came with the power washer. Connected the hose that came with the power washer. And I saved my 50-foot extension hose that I had on my old power washer, which is here. And the fittings are the same. They're a standardized fitting, so I'll put a little oil in there. Not WD-40, oil that O-ring right there. It's still in good shape because I replaced them maybe a couple years ago. And I'll connect my old hose to the new hose, so I'll have about 75 feet of hose now. Okay, so here's my old hose, and you can see I have some electrical tape on it right here. So the electrical tape is not going to prevent the hose from leaking. These are high pressure hoses. If it leaks, you make a hole in it, you burn a hole in it, or you wear and tear, makes a hole in the pressure hose, you got to throw it away. So this is just to protect the outside coating of the hose. It got ripped from wear and tear, and I just put some electrical tape around it just to protect the coating that protects the hose inside. Cut. So here's an example here where the outside protective rubber got damaged, and here's the hose. The white part is a high pressure hose. So I'm just going to put a little electrical tape around it so it has some protection to prevent future damage. Because if you buy a 50-foot high pressure hose, they're sort of expensive. I'll put a link in the description below. But it's good to be out 75 feet from the pressure washer. That way there you don't have all that noise from the engine. But when you use a pressure washer, you always wear safety glasses and air protection. But if you got to, say, 25, 50 feet away, I still wear air protection, but it's just a little bit, makes it a little bit more enjoyable for you. You don't hear that big noise of the engine going and pushing the water through. What I'm doing now with the old hose is I'm just going to inspect all of it and patch up. Here's another place right here. You can see it looks like it hit the engine when it was hot and it melted a little bit. Okay, so you want to protect your high pressure 50-foot hose. Protect your investment. Okay, so you can see I wrapped it with electrical tape twice. They also sell like a foamy type of electrical tape, almost like a little bit of rubber. You could buy that and do that, but I just use electrical tape. I went over it twice. Now I'm going to inspect the rest of the hose for any kind of damage, and then we'll continue. Okay, so I'm going to spray some lubricant on the end of my old pressure washer hose and the new one, and I'm going to put it on a rag so you don't want to spill any of this lubricant on the garage floor because it'll make it slippery and it could be a hazard. Okay, now I have disassembled my old hose. I had two 25-foot sections of pressure washer hose connected with a male connector, and I looked and you can see the O-ring here is all worn out. So I removed the O-ring and I have a new O-ring, and to get them on it's a snap. To get them off you got to struggle with it just a little bit. So what I did was I got a piece of wire and I picked up the O-ring and grabbed it with my finger and pulled it off. Or you can cut it off if you want, but best not to cut it off. Try to pry it out like this, and then just, where are we here? Like that, and then just pry it off. And you make sure this is nice and clean in here where the new O-ring is going. It's a number 8 O-ring, and it goes on, like I said, real simple. Just put it on there and roll it around. So that's what the new one looks like. And you can see the old one there. You can see the new and the old. So the new one protrudes a little bit and the old one is flush. Okay, so what I did was I managed to get my little piece of wire here underneath the O-ring, and then I'll just pry it off, roll it up, and just pry it off. So the O-ring's been sitting there for as long as I had my old power washer, 10, 12 years, whatever it was. So they don't want to come off easy, but it's doable. Make sure this is clean, the groove in here where the O-ring is going, because you don't want to be leaking water. Besides wasting water, you're wasting pressure. If there's a leak in your hose, pressure is leaking out as well as water. Okay, so this fitting here has two O-rings, one down here and one up here, and different sizes. So when you buy the assortment pack of O-rings, there's a diagram on the package, and you lay your O-ring on top of the diagram, and that's how you get the size. So this one's a number 7. So I take a number 7, make sure that groove in there is nice and clean. If there was any debris in there, which there is, I'm going to have to get my wire brush and just lightly clean that up just a little bit. What it is there's pieces of the old O-ring that are stuck there. So now a little bit there. Try to clean it as best you can. Number 7. And just slip it over and roll it down. put some of it in the groove, and then with your thumbs just push it out and it'll fall right in. That's it. That's how you replace O-rings. Figured I had it apart, might as well do it. Okay, so here's another section of the hose. You can see the O-rings are worn out also. So I got everything apart, might as well replace them all. It'll save me down the road.
Day one, no fun.
What do you mean, no showers?
Because they had to run to eat.
Okay, so in order to connect two pressure washer hoses together, you need a male adapter like this. And anytime you're dealing with water, you want to wrap the adapters or your fittings with Teflon tape. When you wrap with Teflon tape, you always wrap it clockwise. And then break it off. And that's it. Okay, so I'm wrapped at both ends and now I'm ready to install it. Because as I go to install it, I find another O-ring that needs replacing. So just take another second, even though I'm a little aggravated here so far, but take another second, just replace the O-ring. It'll save me down the road. I thought I replaced them all. I checked all the hose ends as I thought, but I missed this one. Okay, so I'm dealing with three hoses with 6 ends, so I missed this one. Not a big thing. Alright, gotta have patience. I don't know if I got that on film, but there it is there. Phew. Okay, so now I'm going to put my male adapter in. Okay, so now I'm on my final step of assembly, thankfully. Okay, so you can see where some of this Teflon tape has some dirt on it, so just disregard that. You don't want to get any dirt inside the threads. And I'm wrapping the handle clockwise. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you might have a couple of leaks where you connect the holes a little bit, but you want to keep the leaks to a minimum because besides wasting water, like I said, pressure is leaking out also. So that's it, and I'm going to connect it to the handle. I'm sorry, the spray nozzle to the hose, and we're done. Okay, so I got my new O-rings. This sits in there, and you just screw it on. Get it hand tight, and maybe just a little bit more. Okay, that's it. We're ready to go now. So the next step would be to pour gasoline in, but okay, so if I was to store this unit now, I always use zip ties to tie the hose together because it's just wrapped around and it would spring out. So I'm just going to get a zip tie just to keep everything on the power washer for the night. Zip ties are cheap. That's all, just hold it together until tomorrow. One thing I thought was pretty cool, the manufacturer placed a plastic protector around the wheels. I thought that was like a nice thing for the manufacturer to do. So we got one more step before we put the gasoline in and hook it up to water. Is the manufacturer placed plastic protection around the wheels to protect the wheels during shipping.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy, the chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and check out my channel. I have over 500 videos.